Hello. uh, Hi. If you watched my video yesterday, you might know that I am sick. You can still hear from my voice. I'm still not recovered, but I am pleased to report that I tested negative today twice. So that's always a good sign. And I do feel somewhat better. I'm not as blocked up. I have a bit more energy, but still feel like I'm walking through uh, mangrove mud, if you know what I mean. Like, still very kind of like get tired quite easily. So, but still, I'm testing negative at about day. Was it day 4? I think day 5 of since I had symptoms starting. That's pretty good because last time I had it last year, it took me like almost 2 weeks before I was testing negative. Even though I actually felt a lot better, at the end of the 2 weeks, I was still testing negative. Still testing positive. But anyway, I thought I'd look at the album here. An album that I've owned a few times. Beck, Beck's Midnite Vultures album from 1999. So I own this. I got this for Christmas in the year two. Or no, sorry, it would have been 1999. It was released late 1999. So I mean Christmas at the end of 99, going into 2000. Because I remember that Christmas before the millennium. I think I've talked about this before. How if you were alive at that time, you might remember December 31st, 1999, going into the year 2000 was kind of a big deal. It was a bigger New Year celebration than usual, and so I have a lot of memories of that time. Anyway, I remember my girlfriend back then bought this for Christmas for me in 1999, and so when I think about that time, the kind of summer of 99 2000, this album kind of comes to mind. I've rebought it secondhand, and I think I've actually owned it another time secondhand as well. But you can see here on the spine, there's this kind of like brown. I don't even know what it is. I wiped it a couple of times, but it doesn't come off. It's kind of like it's almost like it's been burnt, or kind of someone's got a lighter and kind of like run it along the edge of the plastic, and it's kind of when you burn plastic, it kind of gives that brown gunk on it. I guess that some of the chemicals are burning off, and it kind of turns to like a brown sludge kind of stuff, almost like inky. The hinge is also broken. The disc, I think, is fine. God, my voice doesn't sound good, does it? Um, I have done a review on Beck's album Sea Change, and in general, I'm a fan of Beck. A lot of his albums I like a lot. A few of his albums I like a lot, I'd say, but I wouldn't say all his albums. I think he tends to be quite hit and miss, and he does certain things really well, but then he's got this other side. He's kind of got, I don't know, a few settings, does Beck. He's got kind of the folk based, and I even put kind of country with that folk country based stuff that I think he does really well. And then the kind of alternative rock stuff, which I think he does quite well as well. And then his more recent stuff, like what was the one he won the Grammy for? Oh, Morning Phase. That's kind of like folk indie sounding. But then he's also got this other side of almost everything's tongue in cheek. And the music always comes off to me as very insincere and almost like, haha, look at this, I'm doing a 1970s style funk song with falsetto. Isn't this kind of funny, you know? Haha, and then the next song, it's kind of, oh, this is one with a funny sample in it, but it's like, mm, I can't put into words exactly. And what I'd say is that the artwork of this album matches that part of his music that I don't like. It's particularly ugly. So we've got the hot pink with the kind of neon green, some kind of mannequin with a, I don't even know what's going on there. And then this thing here, I've never known what that is. It's the same thing here. It looks like two guys dancing, but yeah, actually I don't even know what it is. But it's all kind of unreal. And then you got this like ugly pattern, and it's kind of mixing a lot of kind of ugly mishmash, not particularly recognizable stuff. And I think it's trying to create a certain vibe that matches with with the music. And I think it does that, but the problem is that the music, I think, isn't great. This was the follow-up, I think. No, because there was that one in between. I think Mutations was in between, but I'm not sure if Mutations was a full album. Oh, it was. Okay. I was going to say it's the follow-up to Odelay, but it's not the follow-up to Odelay. Mutations was the follow-up to Odelay. But I feel Mutations didn't have a whole lot of kind of push behind it. It seemed to be almost more kind of like indie, like independently done. It wasn't, but sorry, I stand corrected. I'm just reading quickly here as I'm speaking. Before beginning recording sessions, Beck gained permission from the major label he was under contract with, Geffen, so he was signed to Geffen, to release Mutations on a small indie label, Bongload Records. However, when Geffen executives heard the album, they reneged on the agreement and released the record. This led to a lawsuit filed by Beck against Geffen. Okay, so it was kind of, I guess, half and half then, wasn't it? But anyway, this was the second, the follow, I guess maybe the proper follow-up to full major label release follow-up to Odelay. And Odelay was successful. Odelay had won awards and sold quite a bit and made bid. After Loser was released and Mellow Gold and was at 94, Odelay kind of took him to the level of being almost like a household name or within certain sectors of society. And this was, I guess, supposed to cement that, but it was not as big as Odelay. I think critically, it seems to have reviewed quite well. Looking at just kind of a list, we got kind of 4 stars. Hang on, sorry, I'm looking at the wrong one here. 4 stars, 3 stars, 5 out of 5, A minus, 3 stars, 4 stars, 8 out of 10, 8.5 out of 10, 4 out of 5, 4 out of 5. So yeah, it's got good things, but I don't know. I think it hasn't aged well. One of the main reasons I don't like this album is his overuse of his falsetto voice. Listen to that song, Deborah. I don't know. I can't understand how anyone could like that song. It just comes off. It sounds like a joke song. Sex Laws was the first single, and I actually do like that song. The other songs I like are Broken Train, Beautiful Way, and Pressure Zone. But almost everything else, Nicotine Gravy, excuse me, Mixed Business, Get Real Paid's okay. That's a little bit different. It's kind of got a different feel to it. Hollywood Freaks also is okay, but Peaches and Cream, Nicotine Gravy, Mixed Business, Deborah, Milk and Honey, no, I don't like them. I can't even really describe what I see. Like, they come off jokey and insincere. It sounds like, and this is something that Beck has always trod a fine line between. It sounds like to me some white kid discovered funk. His dad's funk record collection, went through and looked at the pictures and said, I'm going to make a kind of like half novelty record pretending to be a funk artist. And I'm going to dress up in all the clothes and do all the moves and sing exactly that way, but without any of the background to, I don't know. Do you understand what I mean? I don't really understand what I mean, so that's just how it feels to me. And as opposed to something like Sea Change, which is, of course, in that folk slash almost kind of alt country kind of sphere of sound, it sounds much more sincere and honest and true to him and what he is and who he is. And the music is much more emotionally affecting because of that. Whereas this album, sometimes you think, oh, that sounds kind of cool, or that's kind of an interesting sample, or whatever he's used there. But at the end of the day, it's like nothing really grabs you in a real way at all. Even on Odelay trod the line well, and Odelay's got some brilliant songs in it. And Odelay kind of has a good mixture. It has like things like Lord Only Knows or Ramshackle or what's the other one? Ghost Ship. Is that what it's called? And much more honest and raw sounding, and then it's kind of got the more how do you say influenced ones like Devil's Haircut or Where It's At. But he has a good mixture in that album. Whereas this one doesn't. This one kind of seems much more one note. And yeah, I almost would say I don't like this album. Like if you, I say this because I went back and listened to this a couple of weeks ago. And I was listening to it, I was like, surprised at how many songs as I was going through, I was like, oh, that's right, I don't like this song. Oh, that's right, I don't like this song. It was not many, like I said, there's only a handful of songs I actually think, that's okay. And I don't think there's any songs I think, oh, this is a good song. Maybe Sex Laws. Maybe. But yeah. So yeah, I don't know. Yeah, because another thing I read as I was going through this, Q magazine. So I've talked about Q magazine before. They don't exist anymore. A British monthly music magazine, very respected and I'd say they're kind of a level above something like Rolling Stone or Spin. They kind of like much more foot in the past as well as the present. Anyway, when it came out, they gave it 4 out of 5 stars. But then 6 years after it was released, they went back and made a worst albums ever list, 50 worst albums ever, and they actually put Midnite Vultures on that list. Excuse me. So they had a rethink, obviously, but that's quite a big drop from 4 stars down to 50 worst albums ever. Yeah. And here's another review here. Just seeing this because this kind of matches what I said. Robert Christgau of the Village Voice felt that his problem isn't that he tries to be funny, but that his jokes are as forced as his horn charts. Does it eventually get funky if anyone cares but me? Yeah, maybe I wouldn't go that far. The jokes are forced. I don't know. I don't even really, like I said, I don't really even know how to exactly describe what I mean. But it does seem a bit like musical tourism. And it's soulless, I guess, ultimately. Anyway, I forgot to say, I picked this up for 50 cents. I remember buying this one. You do see it around from time to time because it's sold okay. But I think, yeah, probably not one of his more popular things to be hanging on to. But actually, I found quite a lot of Beck stuff secondhand, so I shouldn't say that. But anyway, I'll leave it there for today. My voice is struggling. And again, hopefully next time I make a video, my voice will be back to its magnificent original state. Yeah. Thank you for watching.